Hello everyone, today I'm going to be teaching you how to use parallelism in Grimport. So the first thing you want to do to make sure that you're running a parallel script is to change the number of parallel crawling tasks from the default 1 to something that's superior to 1. So we're going to choose 6, and this means that 6 threads are going to be executing themselves at the same time. And so the second most important thing to do is to make sure that all the variables are local so that they don't get mixed up between threads. And so to do that, you just have to put def in front of them. And now we can theoretically start a parallel script. However, there's something really important to keep in mind, and it's that here we call a function that adds a manufacturer. And so we need to make sure that only one thread at a time can call this function, because otherwise you might end up with the same brand appearing twice, because 2 threads at the same time realize that, oh, this brand doesn't exist, so I have to add it, when really you only want to have it once. And so to do that, it is really simple. You just need to use the synchronize option. And so here you're going to have 2 arguments. The first one is locker. Since you can technically have multiple synchronized parts, you can name this locker whatever you want. And here we have some suggestions. And since we're going to be working with brands, we're going to name this brand. And since it's a string, make sure to add the quotes. And so what this locker does is it makes sure that if one thread is using the brand locker, no other thread can use it. So they all have to wait for the thread that's currently using it to finish. And after that, we have the method, which is going to be this. So you want to make sure to put these brackets and a little arrow like this. And we're going to make it a bit cleaner, so we're just going to space it nicely. And so in here is the method that the thread inside of the brand is going to be using, and it's going to be this. So we're just going to move it. And now whenever we're going to run this script, only one thread at a time can use this part of the script. However, everything else threads are going to be able to do at the same time. So multiple threads are going to be able to add a new product and have it sent at the same time, but only one will be able to at the time will be able to use this. And so now we can launch our script. And as we can see, there are many little pluses indicating that there is indeed information being sent. And so threads allow the script to go much faster. And so now we're going to be taking a look at some more advanced threads. Now, a more advanced way of using parallelism is in the initial and final crawl scripts. And so instead of using this option to create parallelism, we're going to be using the parallelize function. With control space, you can have it automatically written. I'm going to just remove it. And so the first argument is list, and we already have our list here, products. So we're going to add it. After that is the number of threads. So let's say we want to add 3 products. We're going to put 3 as our number of threads. And then the method, which is what we have below. And so we are going to make sure to put it in brackets and to nicely space. And so to create it, first we need to make products into a local variable, like this. And now we can add the rest of our function. And make sure that any variable declared is local, so with def. And now we're going to define a new variable. We're going to call it stack. And it's going to be an empty array. Once we have everything set up, you're going to want to change the function into a function stack. This allows you to parallelize without having to having like multiple threads using the same function at the same time. And another important thing to add is our array that we created as the first argument. And so now that we have it written, make sure to add stack and here, stack here, stack here, everywhere. And now we can test out our script. As we can see, it all goes well. Our 3 threads managed to work correctly, and now it's just doing the 4-page script. And now the final part of the advanced parallelism tends to involve multiple nested loops, especially where you might not know or have the exact number of loops that you have to do. And in this case, instead of using parallelize, you would want to use asynchronous. And so the way asynchronous works is that you have your variable here, your list, and you're going to want to iterate it using each and then create a local copy of it and iterate that and create a local copy of that iteration, and then you can call asynchronous. So to give you a quick look, asynchronous takes 4 arguments. Closure is going to be the functions you're going to be using, and so like with parallelize, you can just use a bracket, the little arrow, and then write your functions. Then you have parameters, in case you just want to instead just simply put the function name here. And since here we're not putting only a function name, we're writing our code. So let's say here we want to sleep for 1 millisecond. And so in this case, we're not going to have any parameters. And then there's the number of threads. Here we're going to be using 10 threads, and then an ID. And so you can name it whatever you want to. It's just to keep track of the threads, and so we're naming it here operation. And so now we can test it out. Well, we should probably add the sleep one so that they're the same. And as you can see, slowly but surely it's filling up with the parallelize. And it takes a while because only a couple at a time are working. But here you see what was made using asynchronous went by much quicker because they all happened at the same time. And so in cases of nested loops, you're going to want to use asynchronous, which is a bit more complex, but also allows you to go much quicker. Because here, because of the sleep, you're going to be waiting 10 seconds for the parallelize to finish. Whereas with asynchronous, everyone sleeps at the same time, and so you only wait around 1 second.